What do you think the next step is, and how do you guys start to prepare for it from a financial standpoint? Obviously, speaking to Chris Fuller, obviously he said that the season ticket increase is part of that. What else is going to have to happen for you guys to be able to finance whatever it is that you're going to have to finance?
Well, I think before we get to the financing of whatever changes took place, I think there has to be good dialogue. I know that the NCAA and others conference offices are already developing questions that maybe yet remain unanswered in terms of how do we get from this phase to the implementation phase. We've already been through, and as I said, the way I view this is a very wise investment in the student athletes. We've been through those discussions. Now again, is there a cost to all this? Certainly. There's a cost to it, and that is yet to be determined too, institution to institution. So that's part of what I'm referencing. We've got to get into some specific conversations now as a university, as a conference, and nationally.
Right. Have you, I guess, done any internal sort of study as to what cost of attendance really means for you guys?
Yeah, each institution has, and that cost of attendance, as you know, is determined on campus. Not
like it's a school to school thing, obviously.
Yeah, it is.
It's different depending on.
Yeah, it's determined on individual, independent campuses.
I guess, have you come up with is there a number that you guys have?
We don't have a number yet because again, we're still very much like everyone else in those discussions, campus to campus.
Okay. What you said you were never for an employee to that sort of model. Obviously, there's the sort of image rights discussion and all this that comes out of the O'Bannon case and a whole lot of other things. Where do you kind of stand on that idea, and is that still something that you guys have to prepare for as an athletic department?
Also fits into that bowl that I just mentioned, that pot is further discussion and further explanation and getting into the details of what that might look like, and we don't, that has not crystallized at this point in time. But certainly all that's on the table for further discussion.
What is sort of, just from a procedural standpoint, what is sort of the next step in the crystallization process? I mean, what's sort of the next
it'll be
move in legislation?
Collective effort from both the NCAA, the 5 conferences that have autonomy. Each of those conferences, as we go to our, we meet at regular intervals during the academic year. Our next meeting is basketball tournament, where we'll also have presidents. That's one of the meetings they attend annually. And every conference is staged that way in some way, shape, or form. All those meetings take place around the same time frames. In May, we go to Destin. That's an extensive meeting with faculty reps, senior women administrator, presidents, ADs. So we have some in-the-room opportunities, but prior to that, there'll be a lot of dialogue from those entities, like I said, the NCAA conference offices and institutions.
Where did you come down on beyond the cost of attendance? The other sort of things that came out, like you said, the 4-year not being able to take away a scholarship based on athletics.
We voted to leave it at 1 year, as our student athletes preferred. But that we did not win that vote, but we did not stand alone either.
Right. What beyond, you mentioned what sort of the athletes' issue was with that, from a department standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, that sort of thing. What were your, I guess, for what reasons, I guess, were you against it beyond what the athletes said?
Again, they paralleled the student athletes' logic, to be quite candid. They were very much on the same track.
What there was obviously the insurance discussion as well. Is that something you were also for, the idea of?
Yes, we were for that.
What all goes into that? That's one of the 3 that I didn't entirely understand.
Well, again, you can see the common thread here. We still need more conversation and discussion about that at the national level before we get to implementation. But I think we should be very cognizant of health care. That's part of the student-athlete well-being concern, in my view. And so we're very much for helping student-athletes with that health care. Now, what will that look like at the end of the day? And who will include? What will the parameters be? All of those things are still open for discussion.
What do you feel like are the next steps that have to be made? I guess if we're talking about helping the student athlete and stopping short of that employee-employer model, What are some ideas you have, I guess, beyond other things that can be done?
Well, I think we've taken the most important and biggest step in the process.
Mm.
We've now nationally prioritized the student athlete
Right.
and the well-being of the student athlete.
Mm.
That was the most important step to take.
Mm.
And now that we've done that, it'll be much easier to get to the destination.
What when you mentioned obviously the details and all these kind of things. I guess when is the earliest that athletic departments could even start paying cost of attendance? I mean, so it's been passed.
Well,
but
the
what's
target
the sort of
is to have the full implementation take place in August.
Mhm.
So that gives you a sense of a time frame.
If so, is the department ready, I guess, to be able to pay that out by starting with next year's scholarships?
Again, we're committed to that investment. That's not an issue.
Mm.
We'll find a way to do that.
Mm.
Will it be easy for everybody? No.
Mm.
People will have to be having conversations about how they're going to make that model work financially.
Mm.
But certainly that will occur.
Okay. I think it's been said that you guys have no concerns about having to cut sports. Is that fair to say that whatever cuts you're going to have to make?
I would be highly opposed. Always have been my entire career. I believe in comprehensive excellence. Now, to achieve comprehensive excellence, you have to have a lot of resources.
Mm-hmm.
You do. So yeah, we're not having any of those conversations. Will those conversations happen across the spectrum of intercollegiate athletics at some point in time? I don't know. Maybe they will.
Mm-hmm.
But we're certainly not. We're not going down that path.
Right. Are there other, I guess, avenues of revenue that you're looking into beyond season
Well,
tickets?
we haven't realized any revenue yet
Mm-hmm.
from the network, the SEC network,
Mm-hmm.
and we're hopeful that sometime in this fiscal year we will get the first allocation of revenue. Don't know what that number is,
Right.
but we'll be very dependent on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a fact. We'll be very dependent because we have the lowest reserve in the SEC.
Right.
So we'll be dependent on that. We're able to move forward without missing a beat relative to our capital projects and the priorities, and that's a real credit to our donor base and our fan base. They've stepped up,
Right.
so that we have again not slowed down one iota relative to the needs from a capital project standpoint.
Mm.
But we still have certainly a concern as it relates to our reserve.
Mm.